Good morning, 6-1. I hope you're doing well today. In my house, and I'm going to explain what an eclipse is and then talk a little bit about a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. Again, very easy concepts. I know you guys are going to understand this. You guys have done a great job so far. So here we go. So we've got the moon, we've got the sun behind us, behind me. So whenever you have the sun shining on something, that object can create a shadow. So you see my shadow on the door because I've got a light shining behind me. So my shadow, I'm casting a shadow on the door. So I'm going to be the earth. I just held up the moon. So we've got the sun behind me, I'm the earth, and this right here is the moon. So an eclipse is when a heavenly body, so the moon is a heavenly body, the earth is a heavenly body, when a heavenly body moves into the shadow of another heavenly body. So if the moon normally is above the earth because it's orbiting on a different plane. It's at it's 5 degrees above. It'll go above and then below. So this is why we can see a full moon at this point right here. So if you're standing on the earth, the sun is shining up on the moon. So in this case, you would have a full moon. Occasionally, you've got the moon will move into the shadow of the earth. And when the moon moves into the shadow of the earth, you get a lunar eclipse. So right here, right there is a lunar eclipse, lunar eclipse, lunar eclipse, lunar eclipse. So when that moon moves into the shadow of the earth, you get a lunar eclipse. Here we are again, 6-1. So I'm going to get a little bit more specific now with eclipses. So an eclipse, when there is an eclipse, that means that you're not seeing something as you would normally, because that object, like the moon, is in the shadow of the earth, or in some cases the earth is in the shadow of the moon. In that case, you would get a solar eclipse. So I've got a few objects here. You've got the sun on the left, the earth in the middle, and the moon on the right. And these are a specific type of glasses that you would wear during a solar eclipse. So in 2017, we had a solar eclipse, and this is what most people were wearing to view that solar eclipse. Doing this all by myself, videotaping and drawing and explaining all at the same time, so bear with me, please be patient. And this is old school because this is a chalkboard made out of slate. You guys know about slate. You've seen that in my class when we studied rocks. And we've got some limestone here. This is limestone, is a sedimentary rock, as you know, and chalk. Basically, limestone is chalk. So I'm going to use my limestone on the slate. So I've got my chalk that I'm going to use on the chalkboard. So when the earth and the moon are lined up in this position, you end up getting what kind of an eclipse? Okay, so you've got the earth is going to cast a shadow. Here's your shadow. The earth is going to cast a shadow on the moon. Okay, so when the earth casts a shadow on the moon, you get a lunar eclipse because the moon is in the shadow, so you can't see it. Now, when the moon comes around, revolves around the earth, and it's on the same plane, now you have something a little bit different. Okay, now in this case, you're going to have the moon casting a shadow on the earth. So the moon's going to cast a shadow on the earth. Now, there's only going to be a certain spot on the earth where that shadow is. So when there is a solar eclipse, not everybody is seeing the solar eclipse. Okay, you have to be at the same time. So you have to be in that shadow. And a solar eclipse usually only lasts about 7 minutes. So as the Earth rotates, you're going to rotate out of the solar eclipse, out of that shadow. Okay, so remember the Earth is rotating. So in order to see that solar eclipse, you would have to be at a specific location, exactly where that shadow, that spot is, that shadow that's being cast on the Earth. That's where you would have to be. I'm going to demonstrate this even more on the slideshow. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day. Okay, 6-1, here we are again in my little homemade studio. So we obviously have the sun behind us, and the sun is shining on the back side of the moon. So what phase of the moon, if you're standing on the Earth, what phase of the moon would you be seeing? Yes, you would be seeing a new moon, because you would be seeing the dark side of the moon. The back side of the moon is lit up. Okay, so here's another question for you. What kind of eclipse? What kind of an eclipse is this? So we have the sun shining on the moon, and the moon is casting a shadow on the Earth. Yes, if you guessed solar eclipse, you got that one right. So, and as you can see, the only people that would be experiencing the solar eclipse would be who? They would be the people standing in this country right here in Africa. It's Libya. Libya is right in the shadow. So the moon is casting a shadow on the Earth. Now, again, I'm doing this all by myself, so bear with me. You can see why an eclipse doesn't last all day. Yes, the Earth does not spin that fast, but it does rotate. So you're going to rotate out of that shadow. I hope that helps, 6-1.